I was going on Metro North for rehearsals for The Imaginary Invalid at the Schoolhouse Theater, and I was taking a different play to work on the train. And there was a seat, and then these two kind of bumbling guys. I think one was wearing, I think he was wearing fatigues, but that might be my reimagining it. Came in and they sat down, and they seemed really happy in the seat. They didn't notice it was cramped. They didn't notice that there was a wall literally like, I don't know, 2 inches from their head, and they were just kind of talking like this. And so I started listening, and they were talking about this guy, Dan. Their wives seemed to be seeing him, but it was very ambiguous. And I was kind of fascinated, so I just started, I got about like 20 pages of just writing that down, and it was like a lot about, we cut a lot of this, but a lot about the Stop and Shop and Dan, and going out with Dan, and their wives are seeing Dan, and Dan's a great guy, but sometimes he doesn't do this, and he's great. And then they started talking about all these other guys too, this whole list of them, but we cut that out too. So anyway, then I came back, typed it up, and that was the very beginning of this whole process.
The first of like 1,000 drafts.
Yeah, it was the first of many, many drafts. I've never imagined Dan particularly. I mean, he's always been sort of something that for the guys to kind of come together with, or to that they've talked about. He's always been a mysterious presence, and in that respect, I feel like he's the one thing that hasn't evolved.
I mean, I've always imagined him as the person who, like, in, I don't know, like a movie, let's say, like most of the main characters would find, like, you know, unbearable, like a douchebag, but there's, like, most of the rest of the people, so, like, the majority of people don't see through that. Mm-hmm. So there's, like, I mean, there's no image of him, there's no specific person in mind, but he's the person who, like, our main characters, not in the play, but like in some imaginary situation, would see through and see the sort of douchiness of, but everybody else sort of sees him as like talented or creative or funny or great or something like that.
I guess I think of him as like a very impressive parasite, or a very attractive parasite, and I feel like he's the type of person who everybody has a different opinion about.